All right, so we are preparing, and all right, we are live, and we're always excited to bring to you great things that are happening within the community here. So right now, as we start this special interview for the AMAAF, we want to just welcome you here to the new normal economy. We have a very special guest, Gary Lee, Grandmaster Gary Lee, as well as, of course, Grandmaster Jesse Bowen. So, we're very excited just to be able to say that there's a lot of things that are happening in this new normal economy and even new normal environment. But we really believe that within the martial arts community, there are the things that people are really looking for: leadership, character, integrity. And a lot of this is captured in museums. And so we're going to be highlighting and talking about the Sports Karate Museum as well. But taking us into the new normal economy with the martial arts is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen. Grandmaster Bowen.
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Great. It's always good seeing you. And of course, always incredible seeing Grandmaster Gary Lee just with what he does.
Oh, Mr. Chung, thank you, but I'm no Grandmaster. I'm just an Uki.
Oh, well, you know what? We're giving you that title because in the new normal economy, we can.
Oh, thank you.
No, but thank you for clarifying that. So
I'm a lucky boy from Hawaii. Ask Uncle Bowen. Ask Uncle Bowen. Ask him.
Yeah. Well, relationships is really where it's all where it all starts, and in this new normal economy, we have a lot of stories that we're taking time to tell, and let's never forget where we came from, nor where we're headed, and position our life and actions that way. But Grandmaster Bowen, I want to turn this over to you to tell us a little bit about how you and Gary Lee met, and just some things that are happening here within the martial arts community as well. Grandmaster Bowen.
Jim, thank you. And hey, everyone, welcome to our presentation today. Each week we try to keep everyone up to date. The American Martial Arts Alliance, we're constantly evolving and constantly growing. The foundation now, we're going into month 9, and we've really done a lot, and we're really doing a lot of things. And just like our program today, Jim, is some of the things that you're going to be doing as our publicist to highlight our members and our inductee. So we kick it off today. We sort of kick it off in the beginning. Back in 2016, when we decided to do the second book, and we released the second book, and one of the first 2 people that called me and wished me well and offered their support was Professor Gary Lee. And that's sort of how we met. I don't think I'd ever heard of him or anything, but out of the blue, here's some guy calling me and wishing me well and all of that. And, a few days later, and as we're now focusing on the radio show, it came to me and says, you should call him back. And since he has a Sport Karate Museum, see what he'd like to participate. And I did. And that was sort of the beginning of a great relationship. And we've been working together with the Sport Karate Museum and the radio show now for 6 years. And we're actually live on Facebook, not radio, sort of talking about it, so you can see our face and see the emotion from that. But I would like to say to Professor Gary Lee, as the rest of the martial arts world, as he's reaching out, interviewing people every week, we're truly grateful for the museum. We're truly grateful for all the things that you're doing. So, sir, welcome to our first launch of the interviews of our inductees. And of course, you are inductee and featured in our book and also in our board of advisors. So welcome, sir.
Well, I'm excited to be here. And thank you, Mr. Chong, for allowing me to talk to both of you at the same time. First of all, let me get this out of the way. Thank you, Auntie Bowen. And I'm going to tell you very honestly, the reason why I got involved is because you're involved with a lot of my mentors like Joe Corley and Jeff Smith and golly bum, there was such a Masserie, God bless him, rest in peace. I mean, you got to honor these people these past few years, and these are the people for the past 23 years that have been a big support of what I've done. And I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of the network and allowing me to interview the masters and the pioneers that we've done all these years, these 6 years. How fast has it gone by? Is incredible. And now you've got Mr. Chong, who I follow him and I know his work. He's very focused, and you know, in karate we say the word kimi. He has lots of kimi, and he's very focused on what he does, and I'm very proud to work with him. You know, I'm excited about talking on Zoom and people actually listening to us and seeing our passion, because they hear us on the radio, they see the book, they see my posts and all the things that I do, Mr. Chong does, but now they can see the passion that we have. And to be able to talk for this time and do the updates on the things that we got going on is very important. You know, like next week I'm doing Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, and featuring our friend Paul Antonio and John Natividad, Lorenzo Sandova, Lonnie Walker. I mean, the people of Las Vegas have built karate to a very strong entity, and we're going to get to talk to them next Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Metro Time. So thank you so much, guys.
Well, so you know, you're welcome, and everyone. You know, our objective and the reason why, you know, with Professor Gary Lee and Grandmaster Corley, Grandmaster Smith, Grandmaster Wallace, and all the elite martial artists, you know, the reason we've been able to put so many things together is because we all share that vision. And the American Martial Arts Alliance, you know, now we've launched our membership side of our organization for getting people to join, is finding those people that align with what we're actually, with the vision. And our vision is to be able to not just, you know, have people as a part of the vision, not just, you know, give people awards. You know, we are a history book. It's like with a sport karate museum. You know, I was very honored to be become one of the history generals. I consider that the highlight of my martial arts career, knowing that.
Can I explain that a little bit?
Sir.
Okay,
Yes,
because
sir.
it's very important. People think that you can buy, you know, fame now and that part, but 23 years ago, this is going to be so cool. I get to say this. 23 years ago, I had a conference call. And back then, that was very unique and different. And it was people like Michael DePasquale Sr., Alan Steen. It was Ken Knutson, Peter Urban. He was on the conference call. My uncle Sid Campbell. I mean, they all said, listen, you got a great idea, this museum. And people have always talked, but we believe in you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to help you, but you got to have 3 different things you got to promise us. And I'm going, what would that mean? And Peter Urban got on the phone. He explained it to me. And he was so cool because I was talking to a history book. Peter Urban, the first 10th degree black belt in America, American Goju. And he goes, and he talks so funny, Hachibo, and he goes, going me, I want to welcome you very personally. And I tried to understand him, and I did. And he goes, basically, he explained it to me. I didn't really understand. So Uncle Sid had to explain it. 3 things. 1, I could never solicit it, which I never do. 2, I had to promise I never charge anything to become a history general. And 3, you had to autograph something and present it to me so I could put it in a museum. 3 simple things. And then they said, you can become a history general. And that is someone who's a mentor, someone who helps me when I need advice, because I don't know everything, obviously. I'm just a ookie. But I'll tell you something really cool. Remember Mako, the actor? He was he passed away a few years ago. He was my sword instructor. He told me, he said one time, he said, honestly, he goes, Gary, you're ugly. I said, yes, sir. He said, no, Gary, you're really ugly. I said, yes, sir. He said, you're not the prettiest crayon in the box, but if you surround yourself with pretty crayons, maybe one day you'll blend in. And that's what the Sport Karate Museum is about. Having the best, prettiest crayons around my attitude to make it happen. And the radio show, you, Hanchi Jesse Bowen, Mr. Chong, the book, and everybody else, all the history journals, you're the reason why I have the passion to do what I do. And the Sport Karate Museum is very simple. It's based upon the masters and pioneers and icons that built sport karate in America. And we started 23 years ago. And as you know, every year for those 23 years, I honor somebody. And you're on the list, Hanji Bowen. You're on the list. But this year I was doing Al Garza, and it was September the 25th and 26th. But before, I do the event and this terrible pandemic came, I had to make a decision. So we've postponed it to January the 28th and 29th in Houston. Now, we're also going to do Sam Chapman this year in Greenville, South Carolina. We're doing that November 6th and 7th, and we're going to go forward with that. And I'm looking forward to that. But honestly, thank you so much. The Sport Karate Museum is only based upon what the work that we're doing right now. And thank everybody for their heart, their passion, and thank you for putting up with my attitude, because we're not. I'm ask John the Tibet or Mike Stone. We're Hawaiians. We just have a different attitude. Thank you guys. Us.
Well, you have a different attitude, but you also have poi, but you have a lot of the great food there too. And who doesn't love Hawaiian food, right? But
Chong, I got to ask you,
sure.
Chong, Mr. Chong, is that Chinese? Can I tell you a fast story?
Sure.
This is a fast story.
Sure.
My real name is Hirosha, but I was adopted by a Sifu Lee, and he taught Silam Pai Kung Fu in Chinatown on King Street in San Francisco. Now, when I first came to America, I'll be honest with you, I lived in a Queen above the Chinese, like a movie, above a Chinese restaurant. But I'll be honest with you, I hated Kung Fu. I hated it. I hated the black silk tops. I hated the forms. I hated it. And Sifu Lee, who was my adopted father, I called him always Sifu, but he wouldn't let me fight. I came from Bobby Lowe and Kyokushin in Hawaii. I mean, I was a fighter, but he wouldn't let me fight. So finally, 6 months, I'm in the Silam. I'm doing self-defense. That's all I was doing. Finally, one day he goes, Gary, tonight you get to spar. I said, yes, sir. So this is before equipment. So I'm just wrapping my hands up. And he goes, Susan. And I go to Sifu, and I go, Sifu, please don't let me fight a lady for my first fight in the Queen. Please don't do that. And he goes, no, Gary-san, listen, if you spar tonight in the Queen, you have to spar Susan first. Well, make a long story short, when I woke up, okay, literally, she knocked me out with a wheel kick. I had instant respect for ladies, instant respect for Kung Fu, instant respect for the unknown, and come to find out she was the black belt under Tadashi Nakamura in New York and Manhattan and Kyokushin. And she didn't fight me like a Kung Fu fighter. She beat me up and she knocked me out. And that's one of the reasons I have so much respect for women. But that's a true Chinese story. I've got a few of them. So I'm glad we talked, because I figured you were Chinese based.
It's really great just, to remember, carry those memories. And one of the things I have to share is, I'm really proud of just, being able to be a part of this. And Grandmaster Bowen, I mean, your whole story about just seeing him with a big trophy, having it inspire you, and now you are putting out the book to really honor somebody that on his own merit definitely deserves to be honored many times older, because he is a legend in this entity, to really capture these wonderful stories of also the other martial artists. 500 pages. And the whole thing is, we talked about your Sports Karate Museum, how, you really capture these stories, but things like what you shared. You know, there's special stories to you, something
Well,
about it.
you know, I saw Master Bowen's tribute to Mr. Chuck when he talked about when he first met him.
Yes.
And I got to share with you guys. I hitchhiked to the very first UF tournament in Warren, Ohio in '74. And I did because I was told that not Bob Wall. It was Leo Fong, John Natividad, Aaron Norris, and Chuck Norris, and John who was that guy? He was in a wheelchair. Ted Voller. And they were going to be the judges at this event, this UF tournament, United Fighting Arts Federation tournament. So I hitchhike out there. It was the very first time I ever saw snow. I'll never forget it. And I get there and I was late. And I sent a note to Mr. Norris. And I go, Mr. Norris, please understand, I'm with Sid Campbell. I want to enter the tournament. Please. I hitchhiked. I mean, I was rambling. I sent it to a security guard to Mr. Norris, and it was down in a stadium. And, you know, he could have went, no. But instead he went like this. I changed into my gi on the way down to the tournament. And back then, as you know, Hanchi Bowen, I was the last one there, so I had to go first. And it was all Tang Sado guys. I took a third place, Mr. Chung, and then I took a third place in fighting that day too. But I met Chuck Norris, Aaron Norris, Leo Fong, John Natividad, and Ted Varth, and it changed my life. That's how I met Mr. Norris. Gina and Carlos, they've been my friends for years, and I appreciate them so much. And to honor them like you've done, Hanchi Bowen, I have no words. I mean, I tell you, I mean, that's how I started. And you honor my friend. That's personal. Thank you.
Well, sir,
Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, and that emotional side of what we're doing. We're not just doing stuff. That's the difference. We're creating history books. These series. This is where your grandchildren, they come and find out about you. This is where you tell the story. This is where you tell the truth. And what I try to say to people when we're looking at being a part of the book is that it's important that our stories are important. Just like with Chuck Norris is seeing his picture, the very first day that I started karate inspired me to become a world champion. It inspired me to my martial arts career. I mean, just to see the picture of someone that was achieving. But this is the power that we have as martial artists. We have that power to inspire people. But if you dig a hole and put yourself in a hole, you can inspire no one. And this is the reason why we have to, especially right now, martial arts schools are closing. All these things are happening. Well, what's going to happen to the martial arts? Only the strong shall survive. And this is what we're trying to do, is be a part, as a marketing part of letting people know in the community who the martial artists are. These things are valuable. And if we don't do this, then the martial arts could be gone. The way that we know it's already gone, because of the number of martial arts schools that have actually, closed down. We go back to the raw beginning of the martial arts coming to the United States. Those few and in between martial arts schools, you had to go up a hallway, and it was dark, dingy, and instructor, only the strong shall survive. They only wanted the strong. They tried to wipe you out the first day. So this is what we have.
Bowen, I got to share this with you. You know why I have such a passion for North Carolina and South Carolina and the Carolinas? When I first came from Hawaii, I lived in Sam Chapman's basement in his karate school in Greenville for 3 years. And that's where I started. I mean, he taught me how to point fight. I mean, he beat me up regularly. I mean, it was just an amazing time. So I have a passion working with you. I have a passion working in the Carolinas and knowing that every week we get to go in people's homes and it gets shared from North Carolina. And I have no words. I really don't. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
Well, sorry, but this is, in North Carolina, we've had some very good martial arts, come
Yes,
here.
sir.
And I
Yes,
know
you have. Larry Isaac. I mean, Jerry Pennington, Danny
yeah,
McCall, Ricky the Goldust twins. I
yeah,
mean, amazing. You're surrounded by people. Marty McDonald, Bill McDonald, rest in peace.
hmm
Vicky Morrow. I can name North Carolina people. Vic Coffin, that's a memory
right,
for you.
right.
How
Well,
about
Vic was
Vic?
on my
Brian
black belt
Johnson?
board.
Those
Yeah,
are some people that you competed against, I'm
yeah, he
sure.
was on my black belt board, and my
Dewey Earwood.
yeah, my challenge was one day was to come up against him and win, and I still have that trophy because he was my big, Larry Isaac and Vic Kopp, and those guys were my heroes of coming up. That
Yes.
the best of the best, that you want to be the best, and this
Well,
is what.
sir, I've got more third places than anybody in the universe. Okay. I've been very, very lucky to be competing against some of these great people you mentioned. But, taking a third place like we did back in the 70s, there'll be sometimes 20, 30
Yeah,
people in the division.
that's right.
So earning a third place to me back then was precious. And
Right.
to honor those guys now, like we're doing through the radio show and the museum and the book, I'm very honored. I have such a passion for what we're doing. And I know that everybody behind you that I'm looking at, just your people that behind you, a lot of them are history generals. But here's the thing right now in 2020, things are changing and they need direction. They need people they can trust. And I want people to trust the Sport Karate Museum, Haji Jesse Bowen, and the book and the work that we're doing because I believe in what we're doing. I wouldn't be here for 6 years unless I believed in what we're doing. And I'm very honored that we're allowed to put like the four chiefs of police I'm putting on Zoom on the 25th of September. That's going to be amazing. And having just a program with police people on, and I feel in my heart that just in the past few months, the police have been beaten spiritually, mentally, and physically. They have. So we're a small voice. We're only 12,000 people, but we're growing. Every day I see we're growing. And that small voice can make a big impact because I really believe that one small idea can turn into something great. I learned in college, Mr. Chung, that if you couldn't be number one in what you do, well, you just got to try to be number one. Sometimes you get pushed to the side. Sometimes there's mountains. Sometimes there's hills. But we have to go forward. And that's what we've done, Hunter Bowen. I really believe that you supporting what I've done for 23 years has made me go forward with motivation to be better. I believe that in my heart. I survived a stroke a year ago.
There you
And
go.
now I'm talking on the Zoom to two of my friends. And we get to honor Carlos and Benny, who I got to tell you another fast story. It's a good one. It's the early 70s, and I'm fascinated by Billy Jack, the movie. So I go to my friend, I says, I want to meet Bon Suhan, okay, who is the double for Tom Laughlin in the movie Billy Jack. So I'm young and I get lost. I go down the freeway. I end up going to Tak Kabuto's dojo, which is a Japanese gentleman. And I go there, and it's not Bon Suhan, of course, because he's out Hapkido. Tak Kabuto taught Japanese karate. So I felt home, but I was in the wrong place. So they say, listen, going back, there's a place you can wait for him. So I go there, and there's a brick room, and it's no windows, just a ceiling fan, hanging clothesline of sweat towels, and it's really something to see. I go in there, I sit on the bench, I look at their sledgehammers and hammers on the floor. And I go, what in the heck are those doing in a dojo? And the first people that come in are Benny Yakitas, Arnold Yakitas, Ruben Yakitas, Lily Yakitas. Okay. I mean, it was incredible. Blinky even came in. And there were all the Yakitases there. And I introduced myself, and Tak Kabuto walked in. Everybody got up, went, us, we bowed. He went over to the bench, sat beside me, picked up a sledgehammer, and he started beating his shins. started beating his hands with the sledgehammer. And Benny came over, introduced himself, and Arnold and I became very close. And that's how I met Benny Yakitas. So honoring him is very special too. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we had a great time, and what we're doing, everyone, we are launching the second edition of the book. We had a lot of the NARS schools that we did not get in there. Our time ran out, so we're launching the second edition of the book, and we are taking nominations now. This is the last Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers edition. We do have future projects that we're going to do. But this is the last one, and we felt that it was very empowering for the martial arts out there. When Grandmaster Norris posted the book on his social media page, we had over 7,000 likes on that page. And so we've decided that the world is looking for information, especially those people that are following, Grandmaster Norris. They want to know about the other martial artists, and through the UFAP organization, we have an opportunity to educate the world. And we're looking for people that would like to share their story. This is not a champions book. We're not, I've done the champions, and we're looking for something different. And it's the everyday person, unsung hero, in the martial arts that's doing things that can help parents to find solutions for their kids. When I tell someone I was picked on, I was bullied in school, then they go, well, now you're a 10th degree black belt, you have all these achievements, and nobody picks on me anymore. So that's what we're doing.
I gotta share this with you. When I left Hawaii, I thought a 5th degree black belt lived in a waterfall in Okinawa. I never dreamed I'd ever be around a 5th or 6th degree black belt. I mean, I really did. I was very honestly humbled, where I thought that I'd never meet someone of high rank. And then what happened in America for these past few years is kind of blown me away. I don't understand it, but I go along with it because I believe people deserve to be recognized. And America is one of those places that you can take something and create it and build it and make it something special. And that's what I believe people have done with the martial arts. So what? We've had a pandemic. So what? People are I understand, but the martial arts will survive. We survived for 60 years as a sport, karate, in America, and we survived for hundreds of years in the world. So we're going to be here. And the people who are the leaders, the people that step up and say, listen, we're not trying to say this is the thing to do. This is the right thing to do. This is the way to it'd be the best way to go. That's what we want to do. We want to help people. And I believe in what you're doing. I believe that you want to tell stories of people because people want to know the history. They want to know where it came from. And I believe in that. I believe in that because one thing I want to say about Carlos is that Mr. Norris is that even though he is an icon and an amazing person, I mean, he's incredible. But to me, he's just my friend. He's always been just my friend. And that's what he is. He is that to everybody. And that's what's really cool. The first thing I saw at that UF tournament, that first one in 1974, I saw the eyes. Mr. Norris, Carlos, Chuck Norris has kind eyes. Mm-hmm. He's had those eyes in 1974. He has those eyes right now at 80 years old. So God bless him. God bless you, Gina. God bless you, Carlos. But I had to say that. Thank you.
I appreciate the spirit in which you bring in. And, this is really what is really true. You are filled so much with stories that keep you invigorated. Mr. Lee, I mean, I'm just inspired listening to your story after story. And, the stories that we keep and cherish in our hearts are the things that really can inspire other people. I know I feel just inspired by just what you shared. And Grandmaster Bowen, you're talking about, this whole thing, this book, the second edition book. And, some people, maybe they didn't hear about the opportunity to be a part of this book, that actually is honoring Chuck Norris, part of history. But, the fact that we're taking this the second time around, so to speak, to really be able to give people a chance to participate. You know, your stories do matter. Chuck Norris's story, Grandmaster Norris, of course, he was awesome. He's always been awesome, but he's a lot more now today because now there's a lot of history. But you know, but the whole thing is you're giving people a chance to capture their story. And Grandmaster Bowen, what you were talking about, and you know, it's just so important for people to really be able to tell their story, not even only for their own sake, but for the sake of others. I really believe in that, you know. And
Can I say
Grandmaster,
one more story? It's a
sure.
good one.
One
It
more
has to
quick
do
one.
with
That's what I
that.
love about your spirit, man.
Well, I got to tell you this because if I talk about Carlos, I got to talk about Aaron,
Uh-huh.
his brother. He was a great fighter, but he turned out to be one of the best directors we ever had in Hollywood. He created a movie called Sidekicks, and we did this movie
Yes.
in the 80s. And if you look at it, I'm the only guy to be able to wear my own uniform. And there's a story behind that. Well, I waited in line one day to wear my uniform and, you know, hurry up and wait, make a movie. And they handed me a Korean uniform. And I looked at it, I said, I can't wear that. I can't wear that. All the people in Hawaii or people that know me, I can't put on a Korean uniform, please. He says, no, Mr. Lee, you're part of the movie. Everybody has to look the same. I said, no, please, I can't. So Rick, you know, they called Mr. Norris or Aaron, and he said, who is it? And you know, I said, well, it's Gary Lee. He said, Gary, has he got his uniform he worked out with Mako with? And I said, of course I do. So I said, he can wear that. So if you watch the movie, you can see Hawaii on the back of my uniform. And I'm the only
Wow.
guy to be able to wear a uniform in that movie that Aaron allowed me to wear. So God bless you, Aaron. So I had to throw that story in because God bless the Norrises. God bless them.
You know, I think there's so much heart that you have in everything you do. And I believe it's the stories that do keep you alive. I just hear them. I'm inspired. We got to talk a little bit more. You know, and Grandmaster Bowen, you know, I think we're near the end of the interview, but you know, I know this book is such an important thing for a lot of people. Again, it's not just a popularity contest; it really is to
That's why we
capture
do
the
it.
history of martial arts. Grandmaster Bowen, your thoughts?
Well, Jim, you know, you're exactly right. And, you know, we have done so many things in the martial arts to actually, you know, to bring it forward. So well, there are a couple things. Number one, I have to get the drawing done while you guys talk. But, you know, the second edition of the book is going to come out. If you want to nominate someone, go to our website. And when you go to our website, you can, you go to the nomination page, nominate your martial arts hero. And like I said, the book is coming out December the 5th. We're scheduling the AMAA Leadership Conference, and this is going to be different because we have Laura Silva, who is a world-renowned speaker and personal development coach. She's going to be actually a part of the program. So we actually have a whole lot of different things that we're going to be putting together as a part of the program. So why don't you just make, Jim, if you would, just you
Sure.
and the professor hang out for a second. I'm going to be doing something here in the background. And
Well,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
Well, just with your stories, Mr. Lee, I mean, I'm just really inspired. And, you know, the Sports Karate Museum, obviously, you're all about really capturing people's stories. Why do you think, you know, a museum and the history is so very important, you know, as we
Well,
just move on to life?
23 years ago, I was very active in competition. I was fighting in the NBL and NASCA and the USAF, and a few of those people that was around passed away, and I felt there needed to be something to remember those people by, and so I did. I contacted the people I talked about earlier in the interview, and I got that phone call, and it started. We started in 1998 and we've been around for, like I said, almost 23 years. And for people who want to understand, they can go to www.sportkaratemuseumarchives.com, and that'll explain a little bit about the museum. But I think it's important, Mr. John, because people want to know history. They want to know where they came from and the shoulders that they're on. And we have lots and lots of black belts now.
Mhm.
What I want to do is get the new historians, and that's part of why I'm part of this book. I believe that there's new historians out there, the people from the 80s and the 90s and the that era. I mean, be honest with you, I'm still in the 80s honoring people because I do it slow. I'm like a I'm like a cook in a pot of pinto beans. You got to do it slow, you know, and you got to cook them all day. And I've cooked this for 23 years going. And this year we're going to be doing Sam Chapman, of course, November 6th and 7th, honoring all the people in the Carolinas. And then in January 28th and 29th, we're doing Mr. Al Garza, honoring the people around the country. And, the reason why we do it, Mr. Chung, honestly, is because of this reason. I believe that in America, in the mainland, as we call it, from Hawaii, that there are dreams, because I'm one of those dreamers.
Yes.
And those dreams have accumulated over the years. And there's people out there that want to express your dreams through teaching people martial arts, how to kick and punch, and how to do it right. And the word I like to use is authenticity. And that's why I do what I do. I like to be authentic.
Yeah, and that definitely shows. I know Grandmaster Bone, you're back, and so I know you had some things, some really
We're
special
doing a
things to share
drawing.
with us.
I just finished doing the drawing. I had everybody's name put into our pot for the drawing. So we just did that. And the winner of our giveaway. So for the next, this is part of my birthday celebration. So the person that we've drawn is Jack Ballard. And Jack is out of Florida and he is a grandmaster in the martial arts. So Jack Ballard is going to be our winner this week
Congratulations.
for the uh, Chuck Norris edition of the Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers. I wanted to do that. We got excited, started talking. I'm going, oh, I knew there was something I forgot to do here. So that's what we're going to be doing. So everyone register, go to our website, Who's Who in the Martial Arts, and register. So we've got, I think, 3 more weeks we're going to do this. So you get a chance to win a copy of this book. As I tell everyone, I think it's an amazing book, not because I'm a part of it, it's because that the teamwork of everyone that worked on it, they did a great job. The video production was a great job. Everything was simply awesome on it. It was, we met so many people. We had such a great experience. The next event coming up, which is going to be the conference, the Emerging Leadership Conference, and we're really excited about that. So it's a lot's going to be gained from that. So Jim, that's about it for me. And Professor Gary Lee, thank you so much. As a friend, as a mentor. Again, I go back just like with Chuck Norris to that call that you made when we in 2016 when we were coming out with the second edition of the book, and just by saying hello and congratulations to a perfect stranger, but from that we have built a relationship. And again, I use that word because in relationship, it means something special. It means a love for each other. It means more than just a partnership. It means more than just, doing business together. A relationship is about, it's like the foundation. When you have a relationship with someone, you have something stronger than just doing something with them. It's personal. And that's what we've done with the radio show and everything that we are doing. We've actually made it personal.
Yeah.
It is personal. And, I remember in Hollywood when I did a roast, Mr. Eastwood, Henry Swank, and Morgan Freeman walked into the restaurant. And I walked up to Mr. Eastwood, asking for an autograph, of course. And then I said, Mr. Eastwood, what makes a great actor or makes someone to do something great? And he looked at me and he says, a good listener. And that's what I've learned to do. I've learned to be a good listener and listen to people's attitudes and desires and changing those desires to a need. And that's what we're doing. So God bless you guys.
Yeah. And, as you're out there, there's a lot of things happening. And, we hope that people are being kind to you and that you're thinking about just really being kind to the people that are around you, because you don't know the battle they're facing. And definitely, the stories that we are capturing today are historic. The stories that you have experienced in your life that should be told can be a great inspiration, because just as this is a new era, an upgrade, I call it an upgrade in terms of the economy, your time period can only be captured if you allow it to be, and only your story. Again, your story are the things that can really inspire people, and we want to make sure you can participate in the second edition of the Masters and Pioneers. That really, this is the book that is closing out the series of the Masters and Pioneers, honoring Chuck Norris, but also the fact that there's a lot of things happening that we won't be able to capture the time period, unless we have your stories. This is a very, very special time. And as we end out here today, we want to make sure that you also consider joining us December 5th for the Emerging Leadership Convention. It's going to be exciting. Go to who's who in the martial arts.com also, just to find out a little bit more about how you can be a part of that. So we are just very excited to be able to help tell the stories of the people. Again, it's not a talent or popularity contest. This is what really is all about, capturing history. So stay tuned as we help tell your stories. We're going to be reaching out to many of you martial artists to help you tell your story online here with us in this virtual media platform, and also in book form. Again, you want to participate in that. And so we want to thank you for tuning in here. This is Jim T. Chong, the Walkstar, along with Grandmaster
Jesse Bowen
and Professor
Gary Lee.
Great, with the Sports Karate Museum. Make sure you check it out at sportskaratemuseumarchives.com. And it is something really spectacular. I was just looking it over again.
Our weekly radio show every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. And Hanchi Jesse Bowen and I I interview some of the top martial artists around the country. It's really exciting. So make sure you stay tuned to that. If you want to listen, it's 657-383-1410, or go to Google and type in AMAA radio.
Great. Very exciting always. All right. Well, have a great one and have a great day, everyone.
All right, thanks.
Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Aloha.
Aloha. Means hello and goodbye. Bye-bye.